Hey everybody, welcome back to, Eternal. I'm John, and normally I've been playing a lot of ranked decks, but I have yet to record a draft for y'all, and I couldn't think of a good deck to play right now in ranked, mainly because I'm in Gold 3, and I don't want to be, shown up by all the people who are in Diamond and Masters at this point already. Also, we're in the middle of Set 3 spoilers for The Dusk Road. I've been tweeting out those at my Twitter account, which is at jwiley129. So go ahead and give me a follow, and I'll keep you all up to date on those, as well as the many other things that I care about, which they're not all eternal. But we're going to do a draft here, and we'll see how this draft goes, and we all get to see how terrible of a drafter I am. So, to start with, we are going to be seeing... Ooh, Bad News. Bad News is a very, very fun card. But it's not exactly a card that I would be planning on taking here. There's Tranquil Scholar, which is a good card. Sometimes the Battle Seal can be backbreaking, sometimes it's not. Lumbering Goron has been a finisher for me in the past, but it's definitely not something that I want to take. The best cards in this pack, I think, are Tranquil Scholar, Awakened Sentinel, Thunderhoof Warrior, and then probably Valkyrie Denouncer. But I don't want to, commit to a multi-faction card this early, especially one as underpowered as Valkyrie Denouncer. So we'll take Tranquil Scholar, see where we end up. Duelist Blade is a very good Huru card. Give yourself Aegis and all the other fun stuff that goes with that. There's also Serpent Mount and Minotaur Duelist, which are pretty decent cards in other factions. There's also two banners here, but neither of them are Justice, although we should just be taking the best card at each place, because Duelist Blade is very good, but there's also Auric Bully, which is a great Argentport card, as well as Extract. And I know there's one person who I lean on a lot on in Eternal, and they say they'd never pass an Extract, so I think we're just going to go ahead and take Extract here over the Duelist Blade, even though Duelist Blade is a great card on the splash. All right, so now we have probably one of the cards that's kind of the biggest stall breaker, and that's Emerald Ring. Probably the best ring for draft. Just being able to make one of your units bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger each turn is just insane. Island Choice is also a fine card. Not as great in ranked or draft as it is in ranked. There's also an Argentport Stranger and Auric Bully if we want to commit to this Argentport plan. Otherwise, I'd be looking at Archive Curator, but I don't think either of them beat out Emerald Ring. All right, so now we have another... Well, I don't think this is a hard pick, but it's not easy. There's no Justice or Shadow cards in here, which is a little concerning, well, except for Talon and Ostrix. There's Caleb's Choice, which is not great. There's Swindle, which is not great. There's Clan Hero, which is a very, very good Skycrag card, but we're nowhere near Skycrag at the moment. Also, a few good Fire cards, but we'll take Talon. I found that Talon just being a 2-mana removal spell or 2-power removal spell is just perfectly fine. So here we have Highwind Glider, which is a pretty decent Huru card, although finding the times where you have 5 power to spend to draw a card aren't often, especially with a 1/5 flyer. So I'm looking at Inspire Obedience or Minotaur Oathkeeper, and I'm going to take the Oathkeeper here. Inspire Obedience is a card that I think I want exactly one of at all times. Not at all times, at some times. But Oathkeeper is a card that I don't mind taking multiples of. Here we see Tillier's Choice and Swift Stranger, both pretty decent cards. There's Copperhall Shieldman, Stalwart Silverwing. These cards none of these cards are great. Swift Stranger is probably the best card in this pack. But I guess if I have to take one, I'll take the Stalwart Silverwing. I'm not happy about it by any means. So here we go. Another Inspire Obedience. There's also a Rabble Rouser, which I found to be all right. And then there's also this Copperhall Herald. And I think I'm going to take this Herald over the Rabble Rouser. Just try to keep... I like being able to have a low curve deck. Here's another great ring in Limited, Granite Ring. Once per turn, you can give your units +1 and Overwhelm. Very powerful card in like Apraxis or a Rakano Go Wide strategy. Also, we haven't been seeing a ton of other Shadow cards aside from this Extract. So we could just be, we could be any color we want right now, or any double faction pair. So we can take this Granite Ring and not feel too bad about it, I don't think. All right, now we have Time Weaver, which Cam, aka Ilian, really loves this card in draft. It is double time, so we'd be wanting to play. We'd be moving straight into Cambrai. There's also an Orc Bully here, and I feel like Extract is a bigger pull to be Shadowed than Granite Ring, and I also think that Extract's a bigger pull to be Shadowed than a Time Weaver. Also, the fact that we have an Emerald Ring makes Orc Bully really good, so I'm going to take Bully here. No cards here for us. We'll take the Foothills Alpha, then we'll take the Icequake, and then we'll take the Weather the Storm. So all we know is that we are Justice, and looks like we're going to get paid off big. Fourth Tree Elder, FTE. This card has killed me, and I have killed many people with it. It is one of those cards that when you see it on the other side, you just groan. It is the #1 groan test card, and it's by far the best card in this pack. Hatchery Hunter is very powerful, but it does require a heavy commitment to Primal. There's also Stalwart Shield, which I would consider, but no, Fourth Tree Elder is insane in the membrane. A few premiums in this pack. So what are we looking at here? Hall of Lost Kings is not a great card in draft, I feel. Karmic Guardian is actually insane. However, we are very far away from playing Karmic Guardian. There's Blackguard Sidearm, which is a great weapon. It's also something good to put on Auric Bully. There's also a Dark Return, which gives us a little bit of inevitability. There's also Minotaur Grunt, which is a great 2. We only have 3 2-drops and a 1-drop in Minotaur Oathkeeper. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Probably need to take a unit here instead of a Blackguard Sidearm. We'll be able to see a few more of these, and maybe in this pack and later in pack 3 or pack 4. So I'm going to take Minotaur Grunt. I love Warcry as a mechanic, and Minotaur Grunt is very hard to block. All right, so here there's no shadow cards, so that probably means that the person to our quote left is taking shadow cards. But there's Auric Sentry, which is probably one of the best 3-drops in Justice. So we're going to take Auric Sentry over Finest Hour, because Finest Hour is great at removing blockers out of the way, but Auric Sentry gets the job done. All right, so here we have kind of not a lot else that we can use. I don't think we're playing this Granite Ring. We're going to send it out. There's Flight Lieutenant, which I have had some success with, but I don't think this deck wants a Flight Lieutenant. But I will take a Mithril Mace. It acts like a removal spell most of the time, like most Relic weapons do. All right, so now we have Ghost Form, which is not really for this deck, I don't think, and a choice between Valkyrie Aspirant and District Infantry. I'm going to take Valkyrie Aspirant, though. 1 flyer for 1 that can later turn into a 5/5 flyer is pretty good. Also, it wears stuff like Emerald Rings a lot better than a District Infantry do. All right, so there's Reinforce, which we're not taking. There's a Feeding Time, which is a very powerful card, but I don't think that we want to try to splash Primal in this deck. There's also Knife Jack, although we're very, very Justice, even though we do have a Double Shadow Extract. And then there's also Stone Scar Magus, which is fine. It's fine. We could take Knife Jack and just be hyper aggressive. Let's take Knife Jack and see how this turns out. We're just going to be way in on the aggressive plan. None of these decks are in our factions. We'll take the Teriax Hatchling for no reason. I will take this Blood Beetle. It's going to be hard to get it through in some situations, but I'm not terribly sad about that. All right, so now here's an interesting choice. So there's Spirit Drain, which in full Eternal or Empty Throne draft was really, really bad. But we don't have a lot of removal. I mean, we have Mithril Mace, we have Extract, we have 1 Talon of Nostrix, and then the rest of what we're trying to do is kill people through combat damage. So I could take it, or I could take this Cambrai Banner and see if we can splash time. We don't really have any time cards we want to splash yet. But I think I'm just going to stay conservative and take the Spirit Drain. None of these cards really interest me, but I'll take Spiked Helm. Doesn't matter. Ooh, Scavenging Vulture. Not a terrible card to pick up here. But now that we have a direction. We are definitely full on Argenport, and we got a really nice card here. Peacekeeper's Prod is actually going to be pretty insane in our deck due to how much Justice we actually have. We get to put it on something like an Auric Bully or a Stalwart Silverwing or an Auric Sentry, and it's going to be real hard for people to beat us. Other card I would consider would be Cabal Bludgeoner, which makes sense. Cabal Slasher is not really what we want. So yeah, let's take Peacekeeper's Prod and be very, very happy about that. So what do we have here? So not a lot. Threaten is not great. There's also a Xenon Stranger. But we have a lot of 2s already, so I'm not too worried about that. I think we're just going to take Minotaur Duelist. It's a 5-drop. It helps with, adds on to something for us to do on 5 with Mithril Mace. What do we do here then? So there's a lot of time and a lot of fire. So Praxis was definitely something that we could have tried to go into. There's a Bring Down. There's an Ice Bow. There's a Blood Call Invoker. I think we're going to take this Buckler, though. Buckler's a fine equipment, or a fine weapon, and it goes great on Orc Bullies and the like. Paid off. Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide is really hard to beat. A 3-power 3/3 is hard to beat on its own, and then it has Lifesteal and gives something else Lifesteal. That's real good. Here, we're going to take Strength of Mini. We don't have any combat tricks yet, and Strength of Mini is actually one of the better combat tricks because you can just kill someone out of nowhere with it. So, here's another interesting pick. We could take this. We're going to take Orc Bully, I think, over Roosting Owl, because our 6-drops are 4/3 Elder and Spirit Drain, which is not great. And I think our deck's going to be very aggressive, so having another Orc Bully is good, and also incentivizes us to take some other cards. Here we got Tinker versus High Branch Sentry, and I think we're going to take the Sentry. Our 3-drops creatures are Auric Sentry and Spirit Guide, and High Branch Sentry is not a terrible card as a 3-power 3/3. We're not playing any of these cards, so let's just take Brilliant Discovery. We're not playing any of these cards. We'll let someone else take Master's Lesson. Maybe someone down the line is playing Huru. Speaking of Huru, let's take Silverwing. We'll take Khopesh, although ideally we're not playing Khopesh. It's not exactly something that is a good weapon. Oh boy, so here we go. So there's Order of the Spire, which is probably one of the biggest win mores in the Empty Throne. Empower, double its power. That does work with stuff like Emerald Ring or Warcry or other weapons. There's also a Silverwing Familiar, which is probably one of the biggest just game winners on the planet. So like being able to play, say you play a Silverwing Familiar on 3 and then you put a Peacekeeper's Prod or a Spike Buckler on it, there's not many games you're losing. So I think we're going to take the Silverwing Familiar over the Order of the Spire because on average it's going to be better. Hey, look, we get to take the Order of the Spire anyways. So paid off there, I guess. So yeah, we'll take Order of the Spire there. Another Auric Sentry. So our 3-drops are becoming, I think our 3-drops are becoming a little glutted here. We'll have to make some cuts anyway. So now the question is, would I rather have the second Auric Sentry versus a Rapid Shot, which is probably one of the best combat tricks in Argenport, or a Dark Return? And I'm not sure. So we have Strength of Many as one kind of pump spell. We also have Extract as a removal spell. We have a few weapons. We have Emerald Ring. We have Peacekeeper's Prod and Spiked Buckler. Maybe playing this Airless Khopesh, but ideally we aren't. I think I'd rather have the Rapid Shot versus the Dark Return, because Rapid Shot is one of those cards where instead of trading, you just win. And that's very, very good. So Felon Stranger and Felon Banner are interesting if we have any primal cards we want to play in addition to what we've got. Like there's, Trailblaze, Foothills Alpha, Khopesh, Icequake. Now, if we take in some of the Huru cards, I might consider playing one of these, but we'll just take this Emerald Acolyte. Probably not end up playing her, because, well, kind of don't want to. Here's a bunch of other cards. Here's Merciless Stranger, 5-power 3/3 Deadly. Don't have any strangers in the deck, so this is much weaker in our deck. So we'll take Argenport Soldier. Ooh, here we go. Valkyrie Aspirant versus Tinker Apprentice. And I think I'm going to take Tinker Apprentice here over another Aspirant, because Tinker Apprentice helps kind of make some of our things bigger and more powerful threats over something like a Valkyrie Aspirant. Ooh, here we go. Bright Mace Paladin, a great 3-drop for our deck. We have a lot of ways of pumping it up. So we'll go and take the Paladin. There we go. Blackguard Sidearm. I was looking for at least one of these. We didn't get the premium one, so sad face there, but we'll take this one. We're not playing any of these cards, but we'll take Copper Hall Recruit. Not playing any of these. Stone Scar Banner is interesting. Do we have any fire cards we want to play? Granite Ring? Probably not. Yeah, no. We'll just take the banner. And then, oh hey, look, we get Sabotage. Spoiler alert, we're not playing Sabotage. Hey, where was the card that I took? Oh, whatever, we'll find it later. But yeah, spoiler alert, we will not be playing Sabotage in this deck. So Sabotage, get out. So we're at 33 playables. So that's 12 power, so we need to make several cuts. So let's start off by cutting the Silver Wings. They're easily the worst 2-drops that we have in the deck. Let's cut Emerald Acolyte. Now we're at 20 units. Let's cut Argenport Soldier, and I think I don't want to cut any more units. So now we're at 16 power. We don't have any hard removal, so I don't think we can cut any of like the Spirit Drain or Extracts. So I think we're going to have to be relying on trading in combat and our relic weapons like Mithril Mace and Talon of Nostrix. So I don't think we can cut those either. Hybrid Sentry is the worst of our 3-drop units, so I think we can cut it fine. So then this is 17 power. Can we get away with 17 power? I think we can. We may not end up casting or playing these all that often. But the games that we do, I think will just end up being blowouts of massive proportions. So see what Eternal says. 10-7. I think 10-7 sounds about right. We have a Triple Justice card. We have 2 Double Shadow cards, but Extract doesn't have to be played on turn 3, and Spirit Drain definitely doesn't have to be played on turn 6. And we should probably have Double Shadow by the time we hit turn 6 anyways. So I think this is fine. If I had to make one more cut to try to get to an 18th power, I'm not sure what I would get rid of. I don't think we can cut any more units. It'd have to be one of the attachments. So that means we'd have to cut something. We'd either have to cut Talon, Sidearm, Ring, Prod, Buckler, or Mace. I don't think I can cut any of those. So then we go to the 4 spells, and it's Spirit Drain, Extract, Rapid Shot, and Strength of Many. And Spirit Drain is definitely the worst of those. What if I just cut Spirit Drain and add a Shadow Sigil? How does that feel? Does that feel better? I think it does, actually. We kind of have a lot of inevitability thanks to Emerald Ring. And it also makes it a little bit easier to play our extracts if we need to. So yeah, I think this is fine. This will do okay. And all right, here. This is for you all. Just go ahead and destroy the extras. Hope you all are happy. And join me on this journey as we take this deck for a spin. Talk to you later.